What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for thelines.com, playpicks.com. I'm going to talk to you about Tuesday night football. I know it has been a very weird 2020 season, but here we are. Tuesday night football between the Ravens and the Cowboys. Hey, I'm looking forward to it. Why not, right? Let's do Tuesday night football every week next year. Sure, let's do it. Let's take a look at what we've got as far as the lines go. As always, written breakdown over here at the lines you can go to. Also at our sister site, PlayPicks, we have a written breakdown over here as well if you want to take a look at everything. Cowboys sitting at 8.5 at DraftKings, 45 on your total. Over here at FanDuel, 8 is the line, 45 is your total. At MGM, we are looking at 8 and 44.5. So tick down a half a point over here at MGM off of where we're at DraftKings and FanDuel. You can see DraftKings has already moved to 8.5 on the Ravens. I can tell you for certain that this was sitting at 7.5 about 10 minutes before I started this video. So at FanDuel, it moved off the 7.5 to 8 on the Ravens. So seeing some action on this thing as we get going. As far as injury news, Cowboys, 2 starting offensive linemen, Cam Irving and Zach Martin, both out. Not good when you talk about that offensive line already missing some starters. Aldon Smith is questionable for the Cowboys as well in this game, apparently with an illness. 4 huge question marks for the Ravens in this one. Calais Campbell, Jimmy Smith, Chuck Clark, and Brandon Williams are all questionable. Now, Calais Campbell is expected to play for the first time in about a month. So that would be really, really great for this Ravens defense. And, of course, you want to get Jimmy Smith and Chuck Clark and Brandon Williams out there as well. That is questionable. You're going to want to monitor that when the injury report is released 90 minutes prior to kickoff. So I will scroll down here if you want to read some of these little, nugget things that we've got going on here. More just kind of fun facts and things like that for these 2 different teams. But really the big mismatch here is going to be the Dallas offense versus the Ravens defense. Dallas offense, 26th DVOA. They are 25th pass offense, 21st rush offense. Pro Football Focus doesn't like them that much better either. 22nd overall, 24th pass offense, 22nd on the rush offense. They allow about, a little lower than middle of the pack pressure on the quarterback, which again, Andy Dalton is going to be back there. So, yards per play, as you would imagine, for an offense that's ranked so low, really low, 22nd yards per play, 23rd yards per pass. Their early down EPA has been terrible. They're 28th overall in the league. So what we saw early on what we see early downs, and maybe they'll change it, but I doubt it, is, look, it's kind of run first down nearly, way too often in today's NFL. And so their early down success rate has just been, early down EPA, I should say, has been very, very low. Rush percentage, whenever you look at this team, is not what you would expect from a team with Zeke Elliott and whatever, but they've been playing from behind so much that when you look and you say, like, whoa, what do you mean? This is one of the most, pass-happy teams in the league. Well, not really. It's just by necessity, right? Like, they have to pass as much as they do because they're trailing as much as they are. So kind of got to read between the lines just a little bit there. Turnover margin, they've turned it over way more than their opponents. They are 31st in turnover margin. But the defense here from Baltimore is really the biggest difference. So you have this poor offense against a defense that still a 7th overall DVOA. They are still 9th against the pass DVOA. They're still 4th against the run DVOA. PFF doesn't like them quite as much when it comes down to everything, but they do like their pass defense as well. So really, really tough to pass against this Ravens team. And then if you look at this Cowboys team, and listen, they hadn't had much of a run game all year, and they don't pass the ball very well either. And now down 2 starting offensive linemen, could be tough for this team to keep Andy Dalton upright, or at least to keep him clean. I mean, the pressure rate, whenever you look at this Ravens team, they blitz at the 4th highest rate in the league. So they are going to be coming after Andy Dalton, and they're going to be coming after these backup offensive linemen. So he is going to feel the pressure in this game for sure. He's going to get a ton of pressure on him, tons of blitzes. What can he do with it? I mean, look, he's a veteran quarterback. This isn't like we're sticking Danucci back there or anything, But with that, there's still going to have to be Still going to have to be some serious adjustments made, and he's going to have to do some serious reading of where these blitzes are coming from and when to get rid of the ball and who to get rid of the ball to. These offensive linemen aren't going to be able to keep him clean, you know. On the offense for the Ravens, look, Lamar Jackson is back. He is not having the best season. I don't have to tell you that. Passing the ball for sure. So when you look at this offense, 24th overall DVOA, 23rd according to Pro Football Focus. This is the Ravens offense. It is a bottom unit for this team. One thing they do still do well, though, is run the football. And whenever you look at that, 11th overall DVOA rush, your yards per rush is still 5th overall in the league. Explosive runs is still 9th, so they're getting those big run plays. They hadn't turned the ball over a ton. 12th in turnover differential. But really, they're just going to run the ball very successfully against this Cowboys team. And fortunately, this Cowboys defense is very, very susceptible to the run. 29th rated rush defense DVOA, 26th rated by Pro Football Focus. Yards per carry, they're giving 31st in the league. Early down EPA is down at 26th. So whenever you look at what they're doing here, they're allowing teams to get success on early downs, and they're allowing them run it all over them as well. 24th in explosive runs allowed against a team that, what do they want to do? Run the ball a ton, and finally has their full, stable of running backs healthy again. I expect we will see Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram tonight. So I expect we will see all three of those guys. And, of course, Lamar Jackson's going to do his share of running as well. So it is a big, big mismatch on the Cowboys offense versus the Ravens defense. Specifically, how are they going to keep Andy Dalton clean in this game with all the blitzes he's about to be seeing with these backup offensive linemen up there? And then the Ravens run offense against the Cowboys run defense. So there are a lot of paths to victory here for this Ravens team. But the question becomes, and here again, full written breakdown at Play Picks as well if you want to see how they're leaning over there. But it comes down to, can they cover this number? Again, it's at 8 at FanDuel and MGM if you wanted to bet the Ravens. So let's start out before we hit that with some of these player props. And we take a look at these player props. We come down. And as far as the passing total, look at this for Lamar. He's sitting at 179 over here at DraftKings. If you look at where they have him over here at FanDuel, 181, and where they have him over here at MGM, you can see at 181 as well. That is absurdly low. I mean, absolutely absurdly low. He's hit this number more times than he is not. He has hit 180 rushing yards. They're factoring in, they are baking into this number, the fact that they hadn't played very much, and the fact that he's, look, this team could be a little disjointed with all these guys coming off the COVID list and stuff like that. Been a long time since they've all played together. But this is an absurdly low number. It would be an over or pass for me, for sure. I would go ahead and just play it at MGM because, look, it's only 2 yards, but you're paying a 136 juice over here. You're paying 110 juice over here. It's 2 yards, 181 over would be the way that I would be going here. Really, the props that I'm looking most at over here on the rushing side of things, right? So if we take a look at these rushing yards, like I said, I expect to see Edwards, Dobbins, and Ingram tonight. So with that, it's going to be split up pretty good. Now, I wonder if anybody has anything listed. It doesn't look like Ingram yardage is listed. They've got Dobbins at 55 at FanDuel. You can see Dobbins is 57 over here at DraftKings, and you can see Dobbins is at 58 over here at MGM. Dobbins should be the lead back, should get the majority of the carries in a game where they're going to run a lot against a poor run defense. The problem becomes, how split up is this going to be? Gus Edwards did not look terrible starting when he had to. So are we going to get how much of Gus Edwards are we going to get? How much of Mark Ingram are we going to get as well? Gus Edwards, 37.5 here at FanDuel. You can see over here 37.5 at MGM and 37.5. So across the board, 37.5. So really it comes down to what do we think the split is going to be and how many carries is Lamar going to take away from these guys as well. And you can see Lamar listed at 54 rushing yards over here at MGM. That's a lot of rushing yards. Listen, I understand that Lamar, it runs the ball a ton. Having all three running backs and, in the situation that they're in where they could be leading by a ton in this game, and then also with the fact that, coming off of having not played in a couple of weeks, seems like a lot of yards to me. It would be under or nothing for me on the 54 for Lamar. I would be looking at the under on Lamar for that. On the receiving side of things, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. They are going to have to pass the ball some. They are not going to be able to just run a million times. And what we saw is Dez Bryant actually get involved in this offense a lot more than we thought. 31 yards for Dez Bryant is fairly interesting to me. And I'll tell you, whenever we look over here, 29.5 is actually where it's at MGM. I have Dez for like 3.1 catches in my projections. So if he gets those 3 catches, then this is very, very doable on the 30 yards, and like you can see that his prop is set at 2.5. So, I would be on the over on the 2.5, and then the correlated play would be over on the yardage for Dez as well. He was way more involved than I thought he was going to be. And with just more time in this offense, I think it probably lends itself to getting him more yards in this game as well. So I like the over on Dez as well. I can't believe I'm even saying that. But I actually do. I actually like the over on the receptions as well on Dez. I think he gets 3 in this game, maybe even 4. So that's kind of how I'm leaning here on the player props in this thing. I do also, if we come down, DraftKings does these matchups and head-to-heads here. More whenever we look at these kind of like more receiving yards, and these things going head-to-head and more rushing yards and going head-to-head. Listen, I don't think Zeke is going to have a ton of success. I actually think that he has been getting worked out of this offense a little bit more. Tony Pollard seems to be getting more and more action with this team, which is why it's very interesting to me to see this being as close as it is in these head-to-heads right here. But if you look at Zeke and Dobbins, Dobbins could essentially be in a 4-way kind of struggle for carries, because Lamar is getting carries. Gus Edwards is going to get carries. Of course, Dobbins himself. And again, I think Mark Ingram gets a handful of carries as well. So just naturally, even though the matchup is way tougher, just naturally you lean towards Zeke here in this head-to-head because his competition is so much less, in that backfield. It just depends on how fast do you think they get down and have to abandon the run completely. But, he should be a much bigger favorite than 118 in this situation. I think he rushes for more yardage than Dobbins on, way more occasions than he does not. So if I were kind of projecting at as far as rushing yards for Ezekiel Elliott in this game, I kind of have him more in that I've got him more in the 60-something-ish range. So that's where I'd be looking anyway. But again, it's not a super strong play or anything like that, and nothing that I'm going to be, running. I kind of have, like I said, have Zeke kind of in the 60 range, Dobbins kind of more in the low 50s. So not a huge advantage, but again, it should be a heavier, because Dobbins could be get way fewer carries in this game if they decide to really mix it up. All right, as far as the game lines go, I would not be betting this one because it's sitting at 8.5. That lets you know, yes, I would be on the Ravens in this game. Look, Advantage here, and of course we would do it at MGM because the juice is only 110. The advantage here is massive. Now, full disclosure for me, I have a teaser rolling into this game from last night on the Bills at plus 8.5. So I have the Ravens at -2. I would still take the Ravens at 8. It's not as great of a bet, but listen, they should dominate this game. The Cowboys have fought, but they have lost multiple games by double digits. And this Ravens team, pretty healthy. Again, getting Calais Campbell back on the defensive side of things. The Cowboys, if you look at this, guys, I mean, the Cowboys have only scored, or they're averaging about 15 points a game over the last 6 games. It's just, there's just not a lot to like about this Cowboys team right now. Losing those 2 offensive linemen, I think, is going to be huge. I think Andy Dalton is under duress all day long. Maybe even some sort of, maybe even some short fields with some turnovers, quick 3-and-outs and things like that for this Ravens team. This is, and we're not narrative-based bettors or anything like that, but I mean, close to a must-win as there is for this Ravens team as it gets, because they're on the outside looking in from the playoffs right now. Lamar getting back, full stable of running backs, defense getting healthier. Really like the Ravens in this one, especially in a teaser leg. And again, you can go ahead and open up one and pair that with, there's a million options, by the way, in week 14, if you like to play teasers. So you can get the Ravens down to 2, open it up here, and then pair it with any of the games in this week coming up. And again, there's a lot of options if you like teasers this week as far as getting another team down. So you could even just open with a 2 here. If you want to play a same game, you probably just do that over here at FanDuel because you'd want to, well, for me anyway, I would play the under. I like the under. I think I'm going to play a very small play on the under at 45. And then I'll do a small same game on Ravens and under as well. It's correlated play, of course. The under, Ravens, run heavy, keep the clock running, move, not throwing a bunch of incomplete passes to stop the clock and things like that. So also, again, as I just mentioned, this Cowboys offense wasn't any good anyway. Now they're down 2 more offensive linemen. It's going to be rough sledding for this team against all these blitzes that Andy Dalton is going to face, and not going to be a ton of scoring. You get this thing up to 51. It would shock me if there were more than 51 points scored in this game. So Ravens in a teaser, Ravens under same game teaser is how I'm going about playing this one. Of course, those props I talked about as well. Some lean, some that I'll get in the account. Of course, head over here to the lines. As always, if you live in any of these states where betting is legal, just click on your state and the very best sign-up offers you can possibly find. Free money, free bets, match bets, deposit bonuses, all the things like that. So take advantage of that stuff because it's the only time you can get over on the sports books around here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below if you don't mind. Really do appreciate all the support of the channel here. Thumbs up on the video, and also let us know in the comments how you are going to be playing this game. Also, let us know in the comments the exact score. So put Ravens 77, Cowboys 71. If you happen to get it exactly right, we'll ship you an Amazon gift card. We already shipped out a few already as it is. So, yeah, let's have some fun with the game tonight. Go ahead and guess that exact score. Again, you must be a subscriber. You got to like the video. And, of course, you have already commented as it is. Anyway, appreciate the watch, guys, and good luck on all your bets tonight on Tuesday Night Football.